can you begin with an update perhaps on Drake and
Yeah, I'll touch everyone there. Drake, high ankle sprain. You're looking at a couple months for sure, maybe longer. Connor Brown, hopeful after the All-Star break, same as Zaitsev. Outside chance maybe they get one game in before that, but likelihood both those guys back after the All-Star break. Gambrell, we'll see later in the week, but out for the next couple for sure.
I know you touched on this, but just devastating news for Drake and your team, obviously.
Yeah, the timing of it too, with Connor out, the right side's really depleted. But an opportunity for Gaudette, showed well the other night. Sokolov, we're going to mix some lines around and see what happens there. But, obviously had a good time. Enzo comes off a hat trick, so hopefully, he can stay hot and give us some offense there.
What are you expecting second time around from Sokolov?
Well, he scored in 5 straight games down there. Hopefully confidence, the pace. This is a real game here tonight. Carolina plays fast, hard. There's not going to be a lot of room. The other night, Buffalo, there was room out there. That isn't going to be the case tonight, but he's a big guy, and hopefully he can get some shots and some chances and get going up here. But it's a process for him. It's much like Drake at the same age.
With the Batherson loss, is it even more frustrating because of how unnecessary it was? And that being said, are you satisfied with the way the league handled it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the league does their job, but it doesn't matter to me what they do to the other team's player. My guy's out for, our leading point getter's out for 2 months or longer. So whether they suspend him, don't suspend him, makes no difference to me. I mean, he's their, third goalie or fourth goalie. So when their guys come back, he's probably not even going to play. So it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I'm losing my guy.
We saw him today practice on the bench. What's he been saying? What are his thoughts about everything that just happened?
He's such a great kid. The first thing he said after the game wasn't talking about himself. I said, it's tough break. It looks like you're not going to be able to go to the All-Star game. It's terrible, that. And the first thing he said was, but what a hat trick by Ennis. And he's just that kind of kid. And you're going to miss that around the room, win, lose, or draw. His attitude, he's coming around in the league, and the way he can make plays. We're going to miss him in all areas.
DJ, what did you do well against Carolina last month?
Well, we were desperate. The goalie was great, and we had timely goals. We didn't give up a lot of odd man rushes. We packed it in the house. We were willing to do a lot of things to win the game. We played a really good, hard team game.
Do you think that was kind of the start of your recovery? I don't know if that's the right word or.
Yeah, well, you got to beat good teams. When you beat a good team, it gives you confidence because you know that team, may be 10-2 in that month or whatever the case may be, and beating Carolina in Carolina, where, I don't know when the last time Ottawa had won there, and at that point in the year, not a lot of teams had won in Carolina, so it gives you confidence. Much like, if you beat Tampa or when you beat a top dog, no matter how the wind goes down, you always feel so much better after.
Pierre signed Nick Holden today.
Yeah, great for us. He's got 4 kids and a wife. They live here. They're in the community. They want to be a part of it. He's great for our young guys. He never is down. He's the perfect guy to have around for Brady and those guys in the leadership group, but also young guys coming in. A guy like Lassie and, even Zub. He just calms people down on the back end.
How has he been, forming a relationship with Zub? They seem to have really been clicking.
He's great. He just little things here and there, but not too much. He just knows. He's played the game so long and played in all situations, playoff games, high intensity games, great teams, bad teams. He's done everything in the league from develop kids on, and he's just a real good calming presence back there.
Can he help a guy like if obviously expect Sanderson here next year? Can he be a guy who helps him along too? For sure.
He's just his lifestyle and the way what he's about. I know Sanderson's a big training guy and a guy that's going to have to be able, to communicate with an older player to help him through it. Much like, Jeff Sanderson, his dad played in the NHL for a long time, and he leaned on older guys. And I've spoke to his dad about that, and we think Holdy is a guy that he can lean on and help him develop into the player that we know that he's going to be.
yesterday, or at the last game, we saw after the game, Austin Watson, he got the player of the game. And he's, I think he got a coin for 3 years of sobriety. Can you just talk about that moment?
You know what? He's a selfless guy for our team. The guys love him. He's a character guy. But everyone knows he's been through a tough time. If you know all the backstory, I mean, his childhood, everything. He's had it tough, wire to wire, no excuses. But he's owned up to it, and he's faced the music, and he's 3 years sober, and the guys, and he's honest about it. He doesn't hide from anything. And the guys certainly obviously respect him in the room, in order to give him player of the game with Enzo getting a hat trick there. They realize that life is, as much as hockey's important, life is, at the end of the day, life is the biggest thing here is hockey's going to end at some point, and what are you going to be like after? And a guy like Austin, can relate to young guys, and tell his story on, exactly what, his experience was with substance abuse and, all the things that go with the pressures of the NHL. And he's a survivor, and he keeps fighting every day.
And very specifically, I don't know if I've ever asked you, but why the bicycle helmet and the glasses?
The boys picked it up along the way. And then, to me, it simplifies for us that this is a long race, like a Tour de France. It's not just one race you have to win. You got to win them all, and we're starting at the bottom of the hill. And, in order to get to the end, how many races in the Tour de France? In order to get to the end, there's going to be a lot of steps here. And we're just, starting out our journey here. But to me, this is a group that feels that they can get it done in the long run. But we're at the start of the race, and we want to be at the top at the end.
Plenty every 2 days now. Go with Murray as long as she's hot.
Yeah, other than back-to-backs, I mean, and we'll look at certain situations because you can't play. I mean, you don't want a goalie playing 14 games in a month or something. You don't want to tire him out either. But in saying that, he's playing well right now. He's seeing the puck. He's confident, so we'll keep riding him. He was brought here to be the starting goalie, and starting goalies play a lot of games, so we're going to give him that.